Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at a book that has been making waves in the fantasy world.
Oh, yeah,
It seems like it's everywhere I look.
absolutely. It's Rebecca Yarros' Fourth Wing.
Oh,
And yeah, I think it's more than just dragons and, soaring through the air.
right. And I think that's one of the things we want to explore in this deep dive.
It's definitely
Like, what is it that's got people so hooked? So, maybe you haven't read it, maybe you've heard about it, maybe you've seen it all over
Yeah.
social media feeds. So let's just lay out the basic premise.
Okay.
So we have a young woman named Violet Sorrengail. She wants to be a scholar,
Right.
but instead, she's forced to go to this brutal warrior academy where the graduation rate is,
Not good.
not good.
Not good at all.
You're more likely to be, Dragon Chow than you are to actually graduate. So right away.
Yeah. It's a recipe for disaster.
Right,
Especially because, as you said, she dreams of being a scholar. She's not your typical warrior.
right.
She's full of self-doubt. She's fragile. She's kind of,
She's not your, bold,
yeah, she's not like
powerful.
Yeah, she's not. No, not at all.
Right away.
And that's what makes her so relatable.
Right. And I think that's one of the things that I found so refreshing.
Yeah.
Because so many fantasy novels, particularly, they're like, boom, instant power.
Yeah, she's like thrown into this and just expected to survive.
Right. And it's
Sink
like,
or swim.
yeah, exactly. Sink or swim. And with Violet, it's like, oh my gosh, she's just like us.
I know.
She's thrust into this situation that she's completely unprepared for. The fact that she's able to not only survive, but to thrive and to grow is like,
Yeah, her character development is amazing
yes,
because she is forced to make these really difficult choices.
absolutely.
I mean, remember when she has to decide whether to expose a secret that could put her own life on the line?
Right.
I mean, talk about pressure.
And it wasn't even a choice that was just like for the drama of it.
Exactly.
It really showed the moral complexity of that world.
Right.
Like she's constantly caught between what's easy and what's right.
Right.
And her decisions have consequences, not just for herself, but for everyone around her.
Absolutely. And then you add dragons into this.
Oh, yeah. We can't forget the dragons.
Right.
Now, you might be thinking, well,
Dragons, we've seen this before.
yeah, dragons, I mean, we've seen that in lots of fantasy.
Fantasy novels.
So what's different here?
But Yaros does something really different, and I think this is one of the coolest aspects of the book,
Absolutely.
is that she creates an entire dragon society,
Yeah.
not just like magical beasts that you ride.
Yeah, it's not just that bond between the rider and the dragon.
Right.
It's like a complex web of rules
Yeah, and hierarchies and traditions.
and traditions.
Yeah,
It's like its own little civilization
And-
within the world.
it is. And so you've got these dragons that have their own personalities, their own loyalties.
And they're not all good guys.
Right.
Some of them are
Some are
not so nice.
not so nice.
And they definitely shake things up.
They do.
I mean, their actions have ripple effects throughout the whole story.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Impacting Violet's choices.
Right.
Adding intrigue to the
Well,
plot.
oh, absolutely. Like, remember when the specific event involving dragons?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I mean, that just like changed everything. And I was like,
Yeah.
where is this going?
Talk about unexpected.
And that's one of the things I love about Fourth Wing is that it keeps you guessing.
Yes.
It's full of these moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I did not see that coming.
Right. She drops these bombshells that you're just like, what?
Well,
What just happened?
I know. And it's like she's playing chess with the reader
I know.
because there are all these little details that you don't think anything of.
Yeah.
And then later they become these huge reveals.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that?
It was right there in front of me.
And it
This
was
is-
hidden in plain sight.
But it was done so masterfully that you just don't even realize it until boom,
Yeah, she's good.
it hits you in the face.
Yeah.
So I think that's like one of the things that keeps you glued to the pages of Fourth Wing is just, you want to know what's going to happen next.
Absolutely.
You want to know like what other secrets are going to be revealed.
And how are these characters going to react?
Exactly.
Because you never know what's coming next. And it makes you want to go back and reread it
Oh, absolutely.
and see like, oh, is that a clue?
Totally. Like, how did I miss that?
Yeah. It's so clever.
I
The
know.
way she writes.
It's like she wants you to become like a detective in her world.
exactly.
You're like trying to solve the mystery along with the character.
And let's not forget that all of this is happening as Violet is transforming
Right.
from this like bookish scholar to a warrior in training.
I know. It's such a crash course in survival.
Right.
It really makes you think like, what would happen if we were suddenly thrown into a world that was completely different
Could we survive?
from our own?
Right.
Would we rise to the occasion, or would we just like completely,
Her to crumble.
yeah, just crumble under the pressure?
Yeah, and she was on track to become this scholar,
Right.
which is much more her personality,
Right.
the interests. And then suddenly, boom, thrown into this life or death situation.
Right.
It's a trial by fire, literally and figuratively.
Yes.
Because, I mean, she faces some serious setbacks.
Oh my gosh, yeah, betrayals, near-death experiences. I mean, you name it,
I know.
she's probably gone through it.
But she never gives up.
And that's what's so inspiring,
That's the thing.
is that she just keeps going.
She just keeps going.
Yeah, that never say die attitude.
And she's not just like tough.
Right.
She's also emotionally resilient.
Yes.
When you think about what she's going through.
Right.
Trauma, grief, loss.
And in this pressure cooker of an environment,
Right, where one wrong move,
you're dead.
you're dead. It's incredible.
I know, and it's like she finds this inner strength that she didn't even know she had.
Yeah, she digs deep
Right?
and finds that inner strength.
And it's not like this perfect, upward trajectory.
No.
Like she has moments where she doubts herself, she's vulnerable,
She's afraid.
she's scared.
Yeah.
She's not like this, invincible superhero.
Yeah.
She's human.
She's human.
And that's what makes her so relatable.
It makes her real.
Yeah.
And I think that's what sets Fourth Wing apart from other fantasy novels.
Right.
It's not just about the dragons and the battles.
Right.
It's about that human capacity for resilience,
Yes.
for growth, for pushing beyond our limits.
And speaking of the characters, we've talked a lot about Violet,
Of course she's the main character.
but let's not forget the amazing cast of characters that surround her.
Oh, the supporting cast is fantastic.
I know Yarros has created such a diverse and complex group of characters.
Each with their own motivations,
Right.
their own secrets.
And they add so much to the story.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got Zadin,
Mm.
the brooding, mysterious warrior who you're never quite sure.
What side is he on?
Yeah, what side is he on? What are his motivations?
And then you have Liam.
Right, who's like so loyal and supportive.
Yeah, he's great.
But then there's all these other characters too that just
Yeah.
bring their own personalities and conflicts to the table.
It's like a dance
It is.
where everyone is playing their part.
And their relationships with Violet are constantly evolving.
Oh, yeah.
So you have alliances, you have rivalries, you have everything in between.
And it keeps you guessing.
Right.
Like, who's really on her side?
Yeah, who's playing their own game?
Exactly.
And how are those dynamics going to impact Violet's choices?
Right.
So much going on.
And then you add those plot twists.
Oh, yeah.
Those moments where you're just like, gas! Wait,
What
what?
just happened?
I did not see that coming.
And she doesn't just throw in those twists for shock value.
No, they serve a purpose.
They really do.
They challenge your assumptions.
Right.
They force the characters to make difficult choices.
Yeah.
And they just add these layers of depth to the story.
It's like those twists are these lightning strikes
Oh, yeah.
that illuminate these hidden truths
Exactly.
about the characters and the world.
Yeah.
It's like a fireworks display.
Ooh. I like that.
Something amazing is going to happen.
Yeah.
You just don't know what
What color?
it's going to be.
Ah.
And then boom,
It explodes.
it explodes in all its glory.
And it's beautiful.
And that's part of what makes Fourth Wing so addictive.
You just got to keep reading.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
I got to know what happens next.
I
You
know.
need to uncover the truth.
It's a page turner.
It is.
For sure.
And it stays with you
Yeah.
long after you've finished reading.
It makes you think.
It does.
It makes you question everything.
And it ultimately offers this message of resilience and like the power of the human spirit.
Absolutely. I mean, even in the darkest of times,
Right.
there's always hope.
There is.
Always potential for growth and transformation.
Yes. And, it's funny because we talked about how Violet's initial path,
Right.
the one that she wanted to take,
Right. Being a scholar.
she was forced to abandon it.
Yeah.
And yet that becomes the key
In a way.
to her transformation.
Yeah.
Like that detour was necessary,
Yeah.
a crucial part of her journey.
Yeah. Maybe we're not always meant to take the paths that we think we are.
Yeah.
Maybe those detours are what lead us to where we need to be.
Exactly. Even if it takes us a while to understand why.
Right. It's like that saying, not all those who wander are lost.
Exactly.
Sometimes those unexpected journeys
That's it.
lead us to exactly where we're supposed to be.
I think Fourth Wing really emphasizes that.
It does.
That sometimes true strength lies in embracing the unexpected,
Right.
having the courage to adapt and evolve,
Even when it's scary.
even when it's terrifying.
And it makes you wonder, right? Like, what would our journeys look like if we embraced the unexpected
Oh, yeah.
with the same kind of courage and determination as Violet?
Like, what if we dared to just step outside our comfort zones
Yeah.
and face our fears head on?
And, speaking of stepping outside our comfort zones, remember how we talked about
Yeah.
Violet's initial path being so different from the warrior life.
Right, like a scholar?
Yeah.
Totally